Hey, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today to do another canning series with me. And today, I'm going to sit there and show you just how easy it is to can up IKEA meatballs. What? That's right. I'm going to show you how you can can up IKEA meatballs and have them any time of the year. That's right. So be sure to grab a hold of that vine and swing right on into my kitchen so we can get canning. Good looking. Well, hey there, good looking. I know it's been so long since we've been cooking, so let's get a cooking, good looking. We're going to be making IKEA
Swedish.
Okay, we gotta make take two. Today, we're gonna be canning up IKEA Swedish Meatballs. Now, folks, my husband will sit there and probably cheer out in the background because why? We're in quarantine together. So I'm stuck with him inside while we're canning these IKEA Swedish meatballs, and they are a family favorite around here. So, what you're going to be needing is 1 pound. Like I said, you gotta bear with me. He's in the kitchen in the house with me, so you're probably going to be hearing a whole bunch of him throughout my videos. And maybe he might make an appearance or two. You never know. Okay, we need 1 pound of ground beef and a half a pound of ground pork. To that, we're going to be needing 1 minced clove of garlic. Well, I'm using dried garlic. You're going to be needing 1 finely chopped up onion. Well, again, I'm using my dehydrated onion, and we're going to use that. Then you're going to be needing 1/3 cup oatmeal. Now, if you don't want to sit there and add the oatmeal, you don't have to. I'm not going to know. This is going to be your recipe. I'm just showing you how I do it. I've had great success with it, and this is how we do it in my household. But if you don't feel comfortable, by all means, don't do it my way. We're all reasonable adults and we can make our own minds up, and always, before doing any canning procedure out there, please, you see if it meets your criteria, and if you're not comfortable doing it, by all means, don't do it. Just because somebody else out there in YouTube land does do it, it doesn't mean it's written in stone and it's the way to do it. You do it how you feel is comfortable to you. Okay? Now, I'm a rebel canner. Not everybody's a rebel canner. I understand that. Again, you do what's comfortable for you. Now, one of my secret ingredients to the Swedish meatballs is we add 1 packet of the Knox gelatin. So, let's go ahead, add that, and all that's left to the star ingredients of all this is some salt and pepper. So I'm going to sit there and add my salt and pepper, and then we're going to mix this all up. So I'm going to bring it over, and I'm going to use what I have at the ends of my hands, and we're going to go right on in, and we're going to sit there and mix all of this until it's all incorporated together. We'll be back as soon as I'm all done mixing this bad boy all up. Here it is, all mixed up. Now I'm gonna go and grab my smallest ice cream scoop because that makes the perfect size meatball. I have my baking sheet right here, and I have the small size ice cream scoop. Now, I always like to par cook any type of meat that I do can, so that's what I'm gonna do. Now, just because I do it, it doesn't mean you have to do it, but I just do it. But first I sit there and I measure out all the meat that's in this bowl here, and I just sit there with my ice cream scoop. I make up all these little meatballs. Then I come back after I'm done scooping out each an individual one, and I'll roll them into a real nice little looking meatball. So I'll be back when I'm all done scooping all these bad boys out, and we're gonna roll them into meatballs, and I'm gonna par cook mine. I'll be back. Okay, I measured out all the meatballs. Now it's time to shape them all up. So I just sit there and grab one and just roll it out. Grab another one and repeat. So I'll see you when I have all the meatballs and they're all nice and pretty, just like that.
Friendly. I don't feel like you do, but this little of ours is getting me so upset.
Okay, I'm gonna put these in my preheated oven. I preheated it to 450. Now, I'm just gonna sit there, and what I like to do is just kind of brown these up. I don't like putting meat raw into my jar. They are always usually par cooked. I like to put the tan on the meat. Besides that, it's an extra layer of flavor to what? To savor. So off to the oven just to brown these little babies up. I'm not cooking them all the way through. I'm just par cooking them. So next time you see these is when they come out of the oven and they're ready to go right into the canning jars. Okay, our Swedish meatballs are in the oven, getting their tan on. Now, we're gonna sit there and make that special Swedish meatballs sauce. So, let's go ahead and let's get started. I have 4 cups of boiling water back here. Now, to our boiling water, I'm gonna sit there and grab our soy sauce, and you're gonna need 2 teaspoons. So I'm just gonna go ahead, add that, and then we're gonna need 1 teaspoon of mustard. So let's go ahead. Whoa! Wear a little bit of mustard in the process. Okay, we have our mustard. Now, I just want to give a pinch of salt because there's quite a bit of sodium in the beef bouillon that we're going to be using. And again, I want to add a little bit of pepper.
Pepper.
As you see, there's my side view commentator. I like to use the Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base. So I'm gonna sit there and add 4 teaspoons of this Better Than Bouillon to our boiling water that I have in my measuring dish, and we're gonna mix that all together. So I'm gonna sit there and add the Better Than Bouillon beef base. And we're gonna mix that all in along with the mustard. Now it's gonna take a little bit for you to mix in the mustard, but if you work at it and give it a little bit of love and patience, all that mustard's gonna work into this luscious, I got tongue-tied there, Swedish meatball sauce. So be a little patient with the mustard. We'll be back as soon as my meatballs are ready to come out of the oven. Here are my meatballs. Now remember, they're not all the way cooked. They're just part cooked. Like I said, they got their tan on. They went on spring break as well during our quarantine. Okay, I have my canning jars out, I have my canning funnel, I have my jar lifter, I have my spatula that I'm going to be also using as my debubbler. I have my little bowl here that I have to put some vinegar in, and I have some paper toweling to wipe. I can't talk today. To wipe the rim of your canning jars down. So I'm gonna grab my little bowl back here because I have my vinegar, and folks, I have my vinegar in my hand. Please make sure your vinegar is at least 5% acid. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pour myself my bowl, and I didn't have this in the list of ingredients. This is an optional ingredient that you can add right now, and if you don't want to add it right now, you can always add cornstarch. But I'm gonna sit there and make a little slurry out of some clear gel. Now I'm gonna sit there, grab my saucepan. I'm gonna come over here, my jar lifter, and I'm just gonna pour a little bit of the Swedish meatball broth into my saucepan here. I'm gonna grab, I'll say, a good heaping tablespoon of my clear gel. Now, I buy my clear gel all in bulk, and I buy it from the Amish. Now there's two types of clear gel. There's the no cook type, and there is the cook type. I am using the type that you have to cook with. Now, as you see, I'm making my slurry, and you just want to mix all that clear gel in And when it gets evenly distributed as it is right now, it's time for you to add all the broth or all that Swedish meatball sauce that we made and add it all into our saucepan. So that's what I'm gonna do here. And now, give that a good mix. And I'm gonna take it over to the stove, and I'm just gonna sit there and somewhat thicken my Swedish meatball sauce up because I don't want it so runny. I want it where when I take it out of the jar, all I have to do is just heat it up in a pan like such with the meatballs, and I can sit there and call it supper. It's my modern day TV dinner at the convenience of sitting on my pantry shelf, and I know exactly what's in the Swedish meatballs that I'm feeding to my family. So let's take this right over to the stove and get that sauce somewhat thickened. Now, while my sauce is thickening, we're just gonna sit here, grab these luscious, what is wrong with me? I can't talk today. Luscious meatballs, and put them into my canning jars. Now, we're not gonna pack these in, we're just gonna loosely place them into our quart size. You don't have to do quart size. I'm doing quart size. I've done them in pint size as well, but this is quart. And like I said, we're just loosely packing them. They're not fully cooked, they're par cooked. And we'll be back when I'm all done putting my meatballs in the canning jar. Okay, we have all of our meatballs loosely placed into our quart canning jars. I'm waiting for my sauce to thicken up a little bit. And as soon as that is, we're gonna sit there and ladle it into our jars. Okay, I'm gonna bring the broth over here, and we're gonna sit there and add it to our Swedish meatballs. The broth is brought over. I'm just gonna move my canning ring lifter, my jar lifter over off to the side. I'm gonna grab a here's my sideshow commentary coming. I'm gonna grab my jars. I'm gonna move them over here. I'm gonna put my canning rings back down. I'm gonna put my paper toweling down. I'm gonna put my spatula and what I'm gonna be using as my debubbler, and grab a hold of my ladle, and let's ladle in. That luscious Swedish meatball sauce over our Swedish meatballs. Oh my goodness, I just made a mess. Oh my goodness. I guess we're not canning if we're actually not making a mess. Oh, I got a little cleanup in aisle 9. Hey George.
Yes.
Clean up. Aisle 9. Paper towels right there.
Paper towels?
Okay, now let me move the spatula. I'm just placing my liquids all the way up to this bottom ring. Let's go on to the next one. and continue putting our sauce into there. We'll be back when I'm all done. Okay, this last one, I'm just a little bit shy. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more boiling water to the last one. Okay, let's just add. I just gotta add just a smidgen more. Like I said, I'm just coming up to this bottom ring. I like having my meatballs all submerged around that Swedish meatball sauce. So now I'm just gonna go ahead, remove my canning funnel. We're gonna grab our paper toweling. We're gonna dip it into the vinegar back here, and we're gonna run it all the way around the rim of each jar. And now, you usually don't have to, but I'm still gonna sit there and take my spatula, and I'm just gonna run it all throughout the meatballs. Take care of any holes or anything. But you shouldn't have any problems because we didn't pack our meatballs in. We put the gravy over the meatballs. Now, I'm just gonna re-wipe down the top of this canning jar. Okay. Grab your canning lids, place them on top. Grab your canning ring, finger tighten them on, just as such. And now, off to the pressure canner they go for 90 minutes. 90 minutes. So the canning jars are off to see the wizard. And some of you might be asking, what do I do with the leftover vinegar? Well, you know what I do? I add it to my canner. It helps take care of the hard water deposit that builds up onto your canning jars. So I'm just going to dump that all into my canner. Okay, jars are in the canner. Now we're just going to let a steady stream of steam vent from my canner, and it comes right out of here, and we're going to vent it for 10 minutes. And after the 10 minutes, that's when we're going to come over here. I'm going to grab my weight, and I'm just going to sit there and place that on top. We're going to build our pressure up to the pressure that I need for my elevation and process for 90 minutes. Now, let's roll that beautiful footage of the Swedish meatballs coming straight out of the canner. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, now, we're going to sit there, put it down on the towel, and we're going to leave these undisturbed for 24 hours. Then we're going to come back, we're going to remove the rings, we're going to wash up the jar, we're going to sit there, then label our lids, and off to the pantry they go. So I hope you enjoyed this coronavirus quarantine canning session, and there's more to come. So be sure to check back. So here's to all of you good looking people. Here's to happy canning. Yeah. Well, good looking, it seems that we come to the end of another great 2020 COVID-19 quarantine canning session. Now, I hope that you enjoy canning yourselves up some IKEA meatballs. That way you and your family can have them famous meatballs at any time of the year. But most of all, be sure to hit that subscribe button while you're right there hitting the like button. That way you'll never miss out on another great 2020 COVID-19 quarantine canning session. So until next time, here's to happy canning, but better yet, happy eatins. Y'all come back now, you hear?